attention to the topic in the spotlight on the show today, which is about motor insurance. Now, the IRDA, the insurance regulator in the country, the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, has sent this proposal to the government asking for 100% insurance of vehicles that ply Indian roads. And we've here at ET Now learned from our sources that lead insurers in every state of India, they're going to tie up with a transport department and they're going to impose penalties. They'll send out notices to all those vehicle owners that are uninsured. And of course, we have several details coming through on the possibilities of how this entire plan is going to unfold and how it's likely to work. My colleague Anurag has been speaking to his sources and he's joining us here in our Mumbai studios. Anurag, do tell us, what have you picked up so far about this, about the plan so far?
If you own a motor vehicle and your vehicle is uninsured, get it insured, otherwise State Transport Department would be sending you a fine notice. Yes, insurance regulator IRDAI has come up with a zero tolerance plan for motor insurance, and IRDAI's plan is for 100% vehicle insurance. In recent IRDAI meet, the zero tolerance plan has been decided, and for each and every state there will be a lead insurance company. So the lead insurance company will be sharing data of all uninsured vehicle to State Transport Department, and State Transport Department would be sending a notice of fine to vehicle owners. And so that data will be provided by Insurance Information Bureau, that is IIB. IIB has data of all the vehicles in the country, with all the vehicles which are insured and which are uninsured. So data of uninsured vehicle will be shared by IIB to lead insurance of the state, lead insurance company of the state, and the lead insurer will be sending the same data to State Transport Department. So in this proposal, while paying the fine also, you are supposed to have your vehicle insured. So it's better to get your vehicle insurance done prior, because very soon the State Transport Department will be sending notices to owner of the people having their vehicle uninsured. So it's a very big development, because as present also there are around 50% vehicle running on roads are uninsured, which is a very big number. So to bring all the vehicles into the insurance gambit, so the IRDAI has made a plan which is 100% insurance of a motor vehicle. So this plan will be getting implemented very soon through the lead insurance company. So each and every state will have a lead insurance company, and this will be a zero tolerance policy related to motor insurance by insurance regulator IRDAI.
So a zero tolerance towards non-insurance of vehicles. Now, this is something that is likely to happen, like Anurag is telling us, and thanks for that, Anurag. But let's get perspective from the industry on this. Rakesh Jain is CEO of Reliance General Insurance, and he's joining us on India Tonight. Mr. Jain, good to have you with us. Thanks for making the time for joining us on India Tonight. You know, as much as the insurance sector would welcome this move by the IRDA to make motor insurance mandatory in India, I want to ask you what problems you foresee in the kind of implementation that you would need to make this work. Do you think it will work the way in which IRDA is proposing it, for the kind of flow that they have suggested as well, with a lead insurer in place?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Vikram, for giving me this opportunity. I think just 30 seconds on why this is important. I think third party, by the definition of it, third party liability is meant to protect the people who are on the roads. So, you know, the people who drive the vehicles, they carry the onus of also indemnifying anybody if they were to hit on the road while driving their vehicles. That is why the law in this country makes this insurance mandatory. Unfortunately, in the execution, you know, often there are gaps, and we all came from a paper-based environment. There were times and occasions wherein the renewals of these policies did not take place in a very convenient way. So I think most of these things are now, past. Now, the good part is the data have got created. Vahan has got the data of all the vehicles. IIB has got the data of all insurance policies. And a simple comparison of the two data throws up, which are the people who have fallen off insurance. And obviously, to comply with law needs to come back. So in my view, the execution of this has now come onto the digital platform. Having said that, to enforce this particular thing with the vehicle owners, you need the states to come along. You need the state's machinery, the compliance, the police, the RTOs which work under the state government to really put their might behind this. And that is why the thought is, since the data is digital, since the people are now linked, through various ways, including Aadhaar, and electronic intimation about the insurance actually not being there, while obviously maybe a bit of a threat to say if you're not insuring, you'll be penalized, will go a long way in ensuring that people comply with the law of the land, which in turn ensures that the people who are plying on the roads, the properties of the people are there, are also secured through an organized financing method.
Mr. Jain, you're saying that we have what it takes in terms of a digital ecosystem to make this happen. Now, in terms of implementation, I wanted to ask you, they're proposing a 2,000 rupee penalty in case you do not have a motor insurance for your vehicle. Is that a deterrent enough in your opinion?
See, this 2,000 penalty exists from before Vikram. It's not being imposed now. The only thing is the ways and means to do it.
The enforcement.
In the past, you would expect a traffic, police fellow to stop you and check your policy and maybe impose a fine. We know that is not practical. Nobody really will do that, in this kind of a state. And when we know 1 out of 2 vehicle is uninsured. So I think unless we migrate to a digital platform and serve these things or link it to say FASTag, link it with PUC, these are the modern mechanisms by which now you can easily identify whether a particular vehicle plying on road is having insurance or not. And then simply link it back with insurance or link it with an administrative action. I am quite sure this amount of 2,000 is peanuts, by any standards. This is less than 20 liters of petrol, So, we are not wanting people to really feel as if, this is a penalty thing. It is more to say that your obligations can be conveniently done. Absolutely. And in any case, the data is being watched by the administrators.
Right. And from a general insurance sector, Mr. Jain, how large is the Indian auto insurance market today? How much larger do you see it grow once vehicular insurance becomes as mandatory as it's being proposed?
See, if you really see, the vehicle market is close to about 30 crore vehicles, of which close to about 14 crores are under the ambit of insurance. And that is why we broadly say that it is almost 54% is uninsured, but then insured. The largest segment of uninsured vehicle is two-wheelers, where the cost of insurance is barely a few hundred rupees. It most of the times, does not even touch 1,000 rupees. So I think that is why it falls off grid. Almost 1/3 of the private cars are also off the grid of insurance. So structurally, if we were to say that all the vehicles come under the ambit of insurance, it also means that another 40-odd thousand crores of insurance premium and also about 7,200 crores of GST for the government. So we feel it is a win-win thing for everybody if they come together. It not only brings in the government's stake, it also helps insurance company diversify risk and maybe improve their offerings, their services, and their claims experience. And for the customer also, Vivek, I must say that a lot of people who generally do not take insurance, please understand the court will enforce this against the owner of the vehicle. The owner of the vehicle does not go scot-free. So, today insurance of third party, the claims are running into crores now because they are linked with the income of the person who is hit. If a guy like me gets hit, it will be a multi-crore kind of a payout. Many of the time, a 5 lakh rupee or a 10 lakh vehicle, just imagine how will that guy pay a few crores. So this is a win-win thing if you ask me for everybody. It is contextual and easily implementable through a digital platform.
So Jain, if it's such a win-win, why are we so late to come to this mandatory vehicle insurance party? Globally, what are the trends in this sector, especially in developing economies? What have you observed?
See, I think we are not late. It's just that the mechanisms are falling in place now. I think IRDAI got created like a bureau about a few years back. The data got enriched. Vahan, if you ask me, has been again a stellar initiative by the government of India, which has happened a few years back. So all these things are connecting as dots. And I think this is why I think the digital story in India is throwing up these kind of opportunities. I think it's humanly impossible to collect a two-wheeler third-party premium of 500 rupees by, chasing somebody. It's not economically feasible.
And from your many years of experience, Mr. Jain, how do you think attitudes are changing among vehicle owners towards motor insurance? Can you paint us a picture on perhaps a demographic change in mindset, the urban versus rural approach? Can you tell us where it stands, the shifts that are happening?
See, I think there is a huge amount of participation by people all across. I think the urban, of course, centers are more enlightened with the responsibilities. Of course, people are more scared because the people in urban areas are more moneyed in terms of at least their formal incomes. So structurally speaking, people are scared. It is just inconvenience, these things fall off. When it comes to rural, you just need to create a bit of an awareness about easy to provide these covers. I think the rural market is catching up, but it is somewhere, in between. And this is where I guess our struggles also go. I think the new distribution channels, which is being talked about, like how do we work with banking correspondents? How do we create a Bima Sugam kind of a universal platform linked to more like a UPI, which can be used by the rural masses? I think some of these new initiatives need to fall in place. And I think the profile of customers are now used to this. Like the UPI is something which is now synonymous across any geographies. And I don't think we have to worry. And the urban India is synonymous with value or protection of their wealth. So I think the positioning of the insurance products as a protector of your wealth seems to be emerging as a big thing.
Now the ecosystem is there. We are, as far as processes go, now that has been laid out as well. When it comes to implementation, he's talking about the states coming on board in a big way, because that's where the actual implementation is going to happen. And then, of course, the people who own vehicles, they have to be ensuring that their vehicles are insured. And of course, there will be a fine to pay, 2,000 rupees. Whether or not that's going to be sufficient or not, we'll have to see when it actually gets implemented. Mr. Rakesh Jain, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us with your perspective on the show tonight.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. And of course, we'll